Hi everyone, Shumin Chin here, and today I'm going to talk about AMD instead of complaining about the Snapdragon X Elite. So we're going to talk about the AMD Ryzen 9 series, which is based on the Zen 5 architecture. So if you guys don't know, this channel is more about the explaining of technical stuff or digesting them in a way that is more understandable for non-technical people. So let's start with what this AMD Ryzen chip is all
Not long
about.
ago, the AMD released Zen 4 and transitioned to LGA sockets. But now, the release of Zen 5 is imminent, with Team Red announcing it'll be out in July. So is Zen 5 worth your excitement? And more importantly, is it worth your hard-earned money?
So basically, the AMD chips are the competitor to Intel. These are the 8086 architecture, which is the one that Windows run on natively. So this is very unlike the what you call that the Snapdragon X Elite, which is based on the ARM architecture. And the difference being, like I explained before, is that ARM works on reduced instruction set, which is basically less instructions, whereas the 8086 runs on more instructions to the central processing unit of the computer, the CPU. So the difference being is that it can actually process more complex instructions versus really short instructions, but because it's producing because it's processing a higher, more complex instructions, it uses more power. It's not so good for the thermals, is not so good for battery life, but of course now you can see AMD now is improving it. So instructions per second here on the Zen 5 architecture is actually 16% more.
This will depend heavily on the application, with Blender being one of the programs that benefited most dramatically in AMD's internal testing. Team Red says that the IPC improvements are partly due to better branch prediction, which is pretty typical for a new generation of CPU. But there are also improvements away from the CPU dies themselves. For starters, Zen 5.
So basically, the instructions per second are improved because of the branch prediction, meaning it predicts, which instructions like it's going to jump to, like in an if statement. If you guys are a programmer, then you'll know that in the if statements there are branches, and this CPU is able to predict that. Okay,
It has official support for higher memory speeds. Now you'll be able to set your RAM up to JEDEC DDR5 5600 speeds while remaining within warranty. This is up from the 5200 speeds.
so basically with AMD now you can it has faster memory speeds, so that you can improve that, especially for high performance
Side of
applications.
the very top end 9950X, which makes sense considering Zen 5 is on a smaller process node than Zen 4. But there's something on the laptop side that's significantly different from what we've seen from AMD before, and we'll tell you what that is right after we thank Pulseway. Have you ever left your computer to do
So that is the laptop part, which I'm actually interested in, because it's more about how these laptops are using this AMD Ryzen AI 300 series, which is the Zen 5 architecture that uses less power. Okay.
And you guessed it, these CPUs are going to have integrated neural processing units, or NPUs, in order to compete with both Qualcomm's new Snapdragon X chips as well as upcoming Intel chips that will also have more of a focus on AI. These Ryzen AI NPUs will support up to 50 trillion operations per second, or TOPS, making them over 3 times as powerful.
So it supports 50 TOPS on the NPU of the AMD chip versus say 48 on the Snapdragon X Elite that was just out there and we are complaining about. But don't forget that this 8086 microprocessors also work with GPU cards, right? Graphic processing units, which can increase the TOPS by a lot, which are the trillions of operations per second for those artificial intelligence operations.
As the NPUs we got with the Ryzen 8000 series, and more than strong enough to officially support Windows Copilot Plus features, including that controversial Windows recall function, assuming of course Microsoft actually releases it at some point. 2 high-end mobile chips will be available at launch, one with 12 cores and another with 10. So would we recommend buying a Zen 5 chip or a laptop with one included this summer when they hit the market? Well, you do get a nice little performance bump, but seeing as the last Zen 4 already had optional support for newer standards like PCI Express 5.0 and USB 4, we don't think they're an absolute must-buy if you've already upgraded recently.
So yeah, that summarizes it. If you guys are in the market to look for the latest AI kind of NPUs, neural processing units, which makes your AI faster, and what AI can do right now is usually for questioning the AI, like ChatGPT with Copilot. You can ask Copilot questions. It can actually do it locally on the computer itself, which is called edge computing because it's at the edge of the network, right? It's not in the cloud, which has to be uploaded online. So this is actually on your computer itself. So obviously, Microsoft is just limiting this to the NPU, but you could actually use the GPU. But NVIDIA and AMD has its own GPU, which is actually faster. So this AMD is actually included at tops. Beyond that 50 tops, I think it's 100 plus tops to if it uses the GPU. But right now Windows doesn't capitalize on that. But if you just want to use the Copilot Plus features that Windows 11 is promoting right now, especially with the Snapdragon X Elite, and I guess that's also a reason why Windows or Microsoft doesn't want to use the GPU, because it wants to give the Snapdragon X Elite some competition space, or allow it to compete with AMD and Intel, which are much better. Okay, they are just downright much better for performance applications like games, like 3D video editing, So for me, I personally would get an AMD or an Intel Lunar Lake processor. And if you guys are confused about the AMD naming conventions, so am I. But just remember, AMD is the AMD Ryzen, the 9 series of the 300 AMD AI9 300 series, and Zen 5 architecture. Okay, that's what you're looking for a laptop that uses the new AMD Zen 5 architecture. Okay, and you will see the AI word there, so you will not get mistaken. It's called AMD Ryzen 9 AI or AI9 or whatever. Okay, but for Intel, that's coming out at end of the year. Oh, by the way, AMD is coming out July 15th. That's why I'm making this video now. So it's just coming out in a couple of weeks. But for Intel, it's going to come out in the second half of the year. That's called the Intel Lunar Lake processor. I'm actually waiting for that. And as of now, I'm not interested in the Snapdragon X Elite because I know that it's not for high performance applications. Alright, thank you so much guys. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and click that notifications bell. Before I go, please take a look at this Kaiser Beyond, a very fidgety knife that you can use with your AI applications or AI hardware, that you can put it there and it looks good, especially when you make videos like this. Alright, take care now guys. Oh yeah, get it for 5% off using my link down below and the coupon code Shamachi. Alright, take care now guys. Bye. Thank you so much.